welcome everybody. We have a small but I hope interactive crowd for this presentation. I'm going to do a quick intro and then I will hand it over to our speaker, Bree. But my name is Dr. Jacqueline Doherty. I direct the Western Center for Social Impact and Innovation downstairs on the ground floor, as also connected to the Individualized Studies or Western program. I want to welcome everybody to our program tonight, Born Free, a journey of embodied memory, with our guest speaker, Bree. This is one of the many pieces of co-curricular and academic programming the Western Center for Social Impact and Innovation sponsors throughout the year. And as a center, we're interested in exploring fundamental questions of how to co-create a more resilient society and world, socially, economically, and environmentally. With this in mind, the Western Center has chosen to organize some of its programming over the next 2 years around a biennial theme of reparations as restorative justice. And though it's important to investigate a topic like reparations at a macro systemic level, investigating institutions and structures of injustice, it's also really important to think about it from a micro level, from an idea of creating the self and our interpersonal relationships with others. In this public talk, Bree is going to share the story of her journey to self-liberation through a process that she coined place-based identity recognition. She uses the Ohio River Valley as the site of investigation to understanding world history and geography for a deeper connection with self and the planet. Quickly, because I know Bree's, I want to introduce just a little bit of what she does, and she does a lot. Bree is an independent scholar, a yoga teacher, an environmental educator, a cultural strategist, a principal investigator, and an action philosopher, which is maybe my favorite, at Free World, which is a world-building design studio for cultural transformation that explores the relationship between people, place, identity, and the space in between. She is also a secret degree holder in economics. She has a quantoid background. We'll not talk about those. She's equipped with tools of yoga, a strong imagination, and years of experience in community development and engagement, organizing and leading teams across age groups, backgrounds, and sectors. She believes that there are no permanent solutions and embraces that everything is an experiment. Some artists paint with pastels, she paints with people. So it is my pleasure to introduce Bree.
Don't be so tight with somebody else, Risa. I just keep talking to myself in circles. Well, greetings, peace, and to all y'all. How are y'all feeling? Considering situations, pandemics, wars, college, in a pandemic, indoors. Well, the sun's out. Do I go for walks and stuff outside? Any cartwheels? I don't know. Is the mic on?
Yeah. Jackie, could you turn it up just a hair? Thank you.
Well, I'm Bree. Thank you, Dr. Doherty, for the introduction. And thank y'all for coming and chilling with me, because that's what this is going to be. We're going to be here. It's going to be casual, conversational storytelling. And so, as you can see, Free Worlds is my world-building design studio and liberation library. And I have some books here, just in case y'all want to flip through, be inspired, whatever. And so I gave everybody flashcards, not for any particular reason, and I gave it to you likely on the blank side because I find it to be really helpful and inspiring, and it just gives your imagination something to work with. Or this is how I operate. And so, you might be asking, whose name is Bree? How is it spelled like that, right? What is that? Also, make sure the P is lowercase like those. And so I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret. So Bree is certificate, but it's not in person. And so I'm gonna tell y'all. So I was born Jasmine Humphreys. Y'all are like the first people that I'm actually like telling this to. Like I'm feel really comfortable here. And so. Okay. And over the past few years, I've been on a journey. Didn't know where I was going, didn't know what I was doing, but things just sort of happened and fall into it. And so, I have been working, well, I mean, like, Jackie just basically gave my whole presentation. But basically, as Jackie said, I've been doing work in community development, youth leadership development. I ride bikes with my friends, and other things. And I have some pictures here. And so back in like the end of 2018, early 2019, I set out on a mission because I was angry. I was upset. That's usually how, you know, I feel like everybody here has like a passion, like something like pissed you off, and you're like, man, I'm gonna fix that. Like I'm gonna change that, like, or I might just, you know, hold a grudge and do whatever with it. But anyway, I set out on the biggest project of my life. It was going to be a museum. I decided, I don't have a history background, no humanities background, I don't know nothing. But I decided to create a museum. But what I learned later was that the project was me, and it was really intense. But before we go there, oh, that's the wrong thing. So Free Worlds is, like I said, it's the name of my design studio, but it's also like a statement. And so it's a statement that our planet is intended for liberation, a demand to liberate the worlds within and around. It's a call to action to free the worlds. And it's an acknowledgement and a reminder that there are multiple realities and worlds that exist. And so just like there is no one future, there's multiple futures. And so there's no the world, but we do share one planet. And so that's how I approach this. So Jackie didn't give everything, I just give this. But one thing that is important about who I am and how I identify is that I was born and raised in Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky. And the Northern Kentucky is a very important part. And so back in maybe like the fall of 2018, I started to get a little bit more interested in history in Cincinnati. So who here is from Ohio? Who is from Cincinnati? We got any Northern Kentucky? Okay, so everybody's kind of familiar with where Cincinnati is, so you know Ohio River. And so I would notice that I would go to different conversations at Perry Bishop Stowehouse or here and there, and I would notice that Kentucky was significantly missing from these conversations. And for me, my father, my whole family, born and raised Covington, Kentucky. And it's a significant part of who I am and how I see myself. And I didn't feel seen. And that was really what started to get me to start asking questions like, who am I, where do I come from, and what does that look like? Keep pressing on buttons. But, actually, we'll get to this in a little bit. Yeah. Sorry. Well, actually, I'll get to that. And so, with Free Worlds, my mission is to help people to orient and align in space and time. And so, how many of you were in Dr. Jackson's class when I came? Anybody? Okay, great, perfect, that's great. Okay, so as a, you were, yeah. Awesome. Wait. Wait, what was your name? Where are you from again?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm Kenneth.
Okay.
Yeah, Ken, where are you from?
You said? Okay. Sorry. No, wait, where did you, wait, where did you say you were from though?
Oh, St. Louis.
St. Louis, okay, you were to St. Louis. Okay, so
Yeah.
I was trying to remember,
Yeah, sorry.
okay, and yours was like the maybe kind of question is like multiple places?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, awesome. And so for those of you who weren't here, I have a warm-up for you. And so there's also this picture that's been going around, so I'm actually gonna break the thing real quick. And we're just gonna go over here. Because I saw this picture going around, and I figured that since we are in a time